shortly take my seat. It's hard when you look around at the world and you see the things going on. It's hard to get my mind off some of the things sometimes. And, you know, we got up this morning about 5. We had a cross-country meet 2.5 hours from the house, and the bus driver, she began to ask me what my plans was for the weekend, and I told her, I said, as soon as I get home, I gotta jump in the car and head to North Carolina. I said, I'm calling a little church down there, and I said, we gotta go and preach. And she said, well, she said, with everything that's going on in the world, she said, I bet it sure ain't too hard to come up with something to preach about. That's what this woman said to me, and I just thought, well, you're right. You know, when you look around at the things that's going on, and you know, and I thought about how God, He is God in the good times, and He's still God in the bad times, Brother Mike, and He has all power right in the palm of His hand. There ain't no problem too big for Him if we would just give it to Him, brother. But you know, the way the world is today, it's almost like as Brother Chris has said, we've got to take a stand, and we've got to stand for the Lord. You see so many evil things going on every side. People, as Mike said, maybe seeing how much they can obtain of this world, how many things they can get naturally, and then looking and saying, look how great that I am. Look at what I've built with my hands. You know, and I couldn't help but think about that old king when he built such a great image there, and he thought, look at how great this is. We've done a good thing. And he commanded all his people, he said, whenever we begin to play our music here, we're going to make everybody bow down and worship this image we've created. And they done that. No doubt everyone just went along with it. If the king said it, it must be right. And everybody can just begin to go with them. Just like that. And when they would play the music, everybody would get down. And somebody come to the king one day. They said, oh king, he said, there is 3 young men. And he said, we can't get them to bow down to your image here. And he began to get mad. And they brought him to him. And he said, boys, I'm going to give you one more chance. We're going to play the music one more time. And you are going to bow down before this great image here. And I love what them boys begin to say to him. Oh King, our God, He will deliver us out of your hand. And even if He don't, we still ain't going to bow down to you, King. And so they played the music again, and them boys didn't bow down, but they stood tall and bold for the Lord. And so the king got mad, and the Bible says that he told his mightiest men to go and bind them up and throw them into the furnace there. And they throw them in right into the furnace, and the Bible says it was so hard. It said that the mighty men that bound them up, and that fire it killed them, brother. And that fire it can get hot, but I'm glad that my God, that He has all power over the fire. You see, my God, He can say things that even nature would obey His voice. He could say a little group set up a little offering and dumped so many barrels of water over it, brother. And you know what God can do? He could send a fire down to consume that offering there. My God, if He wanted to, He could send fire down and destroy cities with it, brother. If He wanted to, He could. He could look at the seas and tell them to move, and they would get out of His way. He could, in the middle of a storm, He could speak to it. He could speak to the winds, and they would cease and obey His voice. the Son of Man. And I'm glad that even when the world beats us up, even when it beats us down low, and we find ourselves in the middle of the fire, I find Jesus is right there with us. And I'm glad for that. But He's got power over all things. And you know, I find it funny because I think the world right now, we're worshiping the things we're creating with our own hands instead of the Creator, just like they was here. And, you know, and those people, they found themselves in trouble, and said they come out of the fire and said that they didn't even have the smell of smoke on them, brother. And I'm glad. You know, them fires, like I said, they can get hot, brother. And the Bible, it says that every nation that forgets God will become as hell. And you know, turn on the news right now. I got news for you. There's some fires burning right now, brothers, out in California. And that's a scary thing. But that's not as scary as the other thing that I seen. I seen a woman hold up a sign that said, keep God out of California. I got news for you today. You're already on fire, and you're telling God to stay out. He's the only one that when the fire comes, I got news for you. I don't believe I'm going to have a smell of smoke on me, brother. When the fire comes in this world, I believe that God's people are going to be okay. But we've got to trust in Him today and quit looking at the world and trying to keep God out of it.
That's right.
I thought that was a scary thing. I seen that and see these fires going on and people saying that they don't want anything to do with the Lord. And you know, what in the world do you think's going to happen when you get rid of Him and you don't have Him in your life? And these things already going on in the world, and you know, it's a scary thing, but I'm glad things ain't always like they seem. Because we do have somebody that we can turn to in the middle of trouble, somebody that's always there. And you know, I thought about this little story today, and it's come to my mind and can't get it off, and I'm going to tell this and then I'll get out of the way. But when I was in college, Brother Mike, and we was playing in the conference tournament down there, and we was playing in the conference championship, I believe it was, and we was right where we wanted to be. I had the game, Brother Brandon. All I had to do was make my foul shots, and that would have sealed the deal. And I missed on Brother Larry, and we lost, and we went home a loser there. And you know, and when we got home, this man come to me by the name of Steve, and he said, "You got to talk to me." He said, "I'm having some trouble with something." And I said, "What is it, Steve?" And he said, "Well," he said, "I know what kind of person you are." He said, "I know where you're at every Sunday morning." He said, "And I know what these other boys do." He said, "And it ain't good." And he said, "I just can't figure out why God would let you lose that game for your team." And he said, "That's been troubling me." And I said, "Steve, what you don't know," I said, "we lost that game, and we got on the bus and we headed home, and it was silent on that bus." I said, "Had we won, we'd have been hooting and hollering the whole way home." And we were just sitting on a little quiet dark bus, and I didn't know what else to do. I always carried my Bible with me to them games. Brother Mike, and something come over me and said, "Why don't you just read a little bit?" And so I got my Bible out and I started to read, and one of the boys behind me, no doubt never goes to church, and he tapped on my shoulder and he said, "What you reading on?" And so I turned around and we flipped the little light on, Brother Larry, and we began to talk a little bit, and in about 30 minutes there's about 8 of us on the bus, and we had the book open, and we talked about the Lord and the whole ride home. And I said, "Steve, you didn't see that part." I said, "We lost the game." I said, "But I went home and I felt like a winner because I got to witness to some friends of mine." And you know what? Oh, Steve, he called me a few days ago, and he said, he sounded different to me, Brother Mike, and he And I thought maybe now he's getting both parts of the story, and just not just what everybody sees on the outside. And, you know, our video coordinator at Louisville, he always ran Bible studies for us, and he always told us, he said, sometimes you got to take a step back and quit looking at the picture right here, and you got to step back and you got to see the big picture, and that way you can see what God has in store for you, and not just what's right in front of your face. But I'm going to get out of the way and let you brothers come any way you want.
Let's go ahead and close it out, Mike.